This presentation is titled George Isidore Sanchez, Father of Chicano Psychology. Dr. Sanchez was born in 1906 in Albuquerque, New Mexico. His father was a hard rock laborer, and he was raised in impoverished mining towns in New Mexico and Arizona. He graduated from high school at the age of 16 from Central High School, also known as Albuquerque High School. Shortly after graduation, he took a job as a rural school teacher. He then served as principal and superintendent. He married Regina Romero in 1925 and they had 2 children. He received his bachelor's from the University of New Mexico in 1930 through taking summer and night classes, as well through support from the Rockefeller-funded General Education Board. He received his master's in educational psychology and Spanish from the University of Texas, Austin in 1931. His master's thesis was titled A Study of the Scores of Spanish-Speaking Children on Repeated Tests. Dr. Sanchez received his Doctor of Education from University of California, Berkeley in 1934. His dissertation was titled The Education of Bilinguals in a State School System. Additionally, he served as president of the League of United Latin American Citizens in 1941. He remarried in 1947 to Luisa Garza Guerrero. He established the American Council of Spanish-Speaking People in 1951, and he passed away in 1972. Throughout his lifetime, Dr. Sanchez served as an educator, civil rights activist, writer, researcher, expert witness, and policymaker. His work can be found in all southwestern United States, the U.S. South, Mexico, Guatemala, Ecuador, Venezuela, Peru, and the Pan American Union. Dr. Sanchez also served as a member of John F. Kennedy's Committee on 50 on New Frontier Policy in the Americas. He also served as National Advisory Committee for the Peace Corps and Latin American consultant to the U.S. Office of Civil Defense, the U.S. Office of Indian Affairs, the U.S. Office of Education on Migrants, U.S. Office of the Interior, and the Navajo Tribal Council. Dr. Sanchez was also influential in the New Mexico Education Association and the American Council of Spanish-Speaking People, which was a predecessor to the Mexican American Legal Defense and Educational Fund. Dr. Sanchez was part of the New Mexico State Department of Education Division of Information and Statistics from 1931 to 1935, yet most of his productive years as an activist, writer, and researcher began at the University of Texas, Austin. He was tenured in 1940. He was often outspoken regarding his political opinions and often felt frustrated by the oppressive and marginalization of people of color, specifically Mexican Americans. Sanchez was hired as the first professor of Latin American Studies and later served as chair of the History and Philosophy of Education Department. Through his work in New Mexico, Dr. Sanchez used data to highlight the bias interpretation of IQ testing on Spanish-speaking children and the differences in school funding based on school demographics, even after the implementation of State Public School Equalization Fund in 1939. Dr. Sanchez's best-known work is titled Forgotten People, published in 1940. This book was one of the first to use sociological methods to document the concerns and experience of New Mexicans. He brought about public awareness regarding the severe inequities for the school children of New Mexico. Specifically, he pointed out that 2/3 of other states had higher literacy rankings compared with New Mexico, with an illiterate population of 13.3%. Dr. Sanchez also served as an expert witness in many cases. For example, in Texas, he served in two of the early court cases on desegregation, which served as precursors to Justice Marshall's ruling on Brown versus Topeka Board of Education in 1954. Additionally, Dr. Sanchez has been commemorated in many ways. For example, on May 2nd, 1995, the University of Texas at Austin renamed the College of Education building George Isidro Sanchez. Additionally, the 51st New Mexico legislature of 2013 proclaimed October 4th, 2013 as George Isidro Sanchez Day in New Mexico. Moreover, there are different schools throughout Albuquerque, New Mexico, and in Houston, Texas that are named after him. For example, the George Isidro Sanchez Collaborative Community School in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Dr. Sanchez has been described as a Don Quixote of the Southwest for fighting racial bigotry. And now I end with a poem about Dr. Sanchez written by Dr. Lucia Duran. De los Sanchez hay mucha gente buena, y de los Barrelas llegó uno muy especial, they said. Our very own Dr. George Isidro Sanchez. Forgotten unintentionally in his beloved New Mexico, muchos años, mucha gente have passed on the memory of Dr. George Isidro Sanchez must not be forgotten. His New Mexico students are still here. Now is a good time to honor Dr. George Isidro Sanchez. Antes de que sea muy tarde. October 4th, look at the northern New Mexico night sky. You can see one comet shooting north and south, and you can see one comet shooting east and west. I think they are both our very own 1906 to 1972 Professor George Isidro Sanchez. I appreciate your time, and I hope you found this informational.